Hey folks, since in the previous session we have defined a pre-process function, and this function will do for us is it just pre-processes the text, whatever text I will pass to it. Now let's try to expand this function. So first and foremost, let's try to rename the notebook, which is all about 3.Cora underscore, let's say pre-processing, as we are doing pre-processing over here. Let's try to rename that. Now if I will scroll it to below, these are all the contractions that you can think of with respect to this data. Now let's try to touch upon it. Again, first and foremost, we need to perform the lowercase operation on top of whatever x we have. Again, str is all about imagine we have some missing values in this x. Hence, missing values typically belongs to our float data type. Hence, first and foremost, we need to convert this into some string using this inbuilt str. I will say str of x basically means this x now belongs to some string object. The moment I say this, now we will say cool. Now let's apply our lowercase operation. Let's apply the lowercase operation just to make sure that all the data must be on a same scale. Because imagine at some instance you have, let's say, entry as, let's say, AI. But let's say at some instance you have an entry as, let's say, AI. So for human, we know both are same, but as their keys are different, hence our Python considered both as different words. Hence we need to make on the same scale using a lowercase operation. So after performing this lowercase operation, the first operation or the first contraction is all about, imagine I have 6 zeros. I can think of replacing it with million. I will say cool, just replace it. The third is all about, or the second is all about, if I have 000 having some comma, let's replace it with k. Similarly, if I have this symbol, let's replace it with this. Similarly, so on. We have multiple. If we have this euro symbol, we can say, hey, replace it with euro. If I have this double L, just replace it with will. If I have this Indian currency, just replace it with rupee. If I have this dollar symbol, just replace it with dollar. Again, apart from this, these are some of the most popular abbreviations with respect to our Cora data or with respect to our existing data. Again, there can be multiple abbreviations, but after understanding this data in much more depth, these are some of the frequent used abbreviations that I have figured out. Now, let's try to apply this function, which is all about our pre-process function, on top of our question 1 feature. Along with, let's try to apply this on top of our question 2 feature. Let's try to apply it. So I will say dot apply. What we have to apply? We have to apply this function. Dot apply. What we have to apply? We have to apply this function. After doing all this stuff, let's try to store this somewhere else, or let's try to update this feature, which is all about question 1. Similarly, let's try to also update this. And the moment I will execute this line of code, and if I will say, let's say data of, let's say, question 1, let me access our question 1, and let me access the previous index, which is all about 4262, which is with respect to our Indian currency symbol. The moment I will execute this line of code, now you will end up getting all the stuff what you exactly need. But one thing that you will notice in the entire text is we have some special character. Let's say at the end of the question or at the end of the statement, we have this question mark. So let's try to replace, if we have a special character in our data, let's try to, because a special character makes no sense in the entire data that we have. That's why at the time of pre-processing or at the time of data cleaning, we have to take care of all the stuff. So let's try to remove all the special characters that we have. And of course, this is typically our problem statement, which is all about, let's try to remove the special characters from data by just defining some pattern. Let's try to understand what exactly pattern is all about in such cases. Again, as it is a text data, and whenever you have to clean text data, let's say remove some symbols or remove some special characters, in such cases, you have to be very much comfortable with a module known as regular expression. Or whenever you have to work with a text type of data, you have to deal with the regular expression kind of things. So this regular expression says, cool, I have some pattern. Depending upon the need, depending upon the problem statement that you have to define some pattern. Because text data, in a nutshell, text data is nothing but some kind of pattern. That's why just to perform some operation, you have to define some pattern. So I will say, cool, hey, can you define some pattern? Can you define some pattern so that we are able to remove all the special characters that we have in data. Hey, can you define some pattern for us? So we will say, cool, we can do that. We will say, just hold all the values from all the values in this lowercase range, all the values of this uppercase range, and let's try to hold, let's say, some underscore. Again, collection of all these stuff is nothing but our word character, which is all about this /w. In general, /w is all about collection of A to Z, small a to Z, plus uppercase A to Z, along with it also holds our underscore special character. So we will say, whatever text or whatever character, if it will not follow in this range, just eliminate it or just remove it. Now let's try to write the logic, what I have explained, or just try to code up all the stuff depending upon the pseudo code that I have explained you. Let's try to code up all the stuff. So first and foremost, let's try to store this data in, let's say, sample. I will say sample is all about this. Now, first and foremost, I have to import a module which is all about regular expression, that is my RE. So just to define a pattern, you have to use an inbuilt compile function. I will say my pattern is all about this /W. Again, this /small w is all about, it holds all the word characters. It means small a to Z, uppercase, along with underscore. This one is all about except word character. That what this capital /W stands for. So I will say, this is my pattern. Let's store this in my pattern variable. Let me just execute this line of code. Now what I will do is, I will say, cool, let's try to substitute, or let's try to remove the question mark. So I have to use this substitute function. I will say if my data get matched with my pattern, let's replace it with space. Now we have to mention on what data we have to perform this substitute operation. I will say, just apply it on top of sample. The moment I will execute this line of code, now you will see you do not have any question mark, along with you do not have also this one. That's the power of your substitute function along with the pattern that you have defined. Now you have removed this special character with respect to this index. Now let's try to remove all the special character with respect to question 1 feature as well as with respect to question 2 feature. So what I will do is, I will say, cool, hey, can I define a function and can I apply on top of both the features that we have? Let's try to code up all that stuff. So I will say, first and foremost, let's try to define a function. I will say define function. Function is all about, let's say, sp or remove underscore character, whatever else, it's all up to you. I will say whatever x or whatever text I will pass to it. If you want to make it user friendly, you will say remove underscore special underscore character or remove underscore word character, whatever else. I will say cool. Here we have to just mention all this stuff and I have to replace it. I will say it is all about our x. Now here we have to return it. So I will say just return it. Cool. Let's execute. Now we have to just apply this function on top of our 2 feature, which is all about question 1 and question 2. So I will say, let's store both the feature, which is all about question 1. It is my question 1. The second is all about our question 2. Cool. Let's execute it. I will say it is nothing but the moment I press Ctrl plus Z. Cool. Let me execute. I will say for feature in feature 2. Feature for feature, it will say features. Let me say it as features, and I will say for feature in features. Now here I will say data of feature dot apply. Now what we have to apply is we have to apply this function which is all about our remove underscore special underscore character. You can just press tab. This is exactly the function that we have. Now we have to update this feature as well. So the moment I will execute this line of code, and let me just copy all that stuff, and let's try to paste it over here. Let's try to modify some index. Let's say 2, 4, 6, 7. Just try to pick up some random index, and the moment I will execute it, now you will see you do not have any special character in the entire text that you have. But one thing that you will notice is after doing all these cleaning, you will end up getting a extra white space. Look at this. Look at the area. You will end up getting a extra white space. This is the main problem. Hence, in the next session, we will try to remove all the extra white spaces that we have in data. Again, we will try to touch upon all the ways how to remove the extra white space if we have in data. So that's all about it. Again, if you have doubts, feel free to ask with us in the Q&A of the course. So that's all about it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Keep learning, keep growing, keep practicing.